Hey guys, Gun here. Today I'm going to give you a quick update on how I'm running my auras, because in the last video I was running 5 auras and had no mana left, and as you might have noticed in the last patch, these 3 passives, mana flows and the surrounding 2 mana nodes, were moved from over here to the middle of the duelist area. They tried to basically buff the duelist, but instead of buffing the duelist, because the duelist had access to these 3 points anyways, because he has to get out of the duelist area somehow, and preferably he goes towards life, and on the right side there's a lot of life, and he basically had access to it anyways. And instead of buffing the duelist, they kinda just nerfed characters that are not a duelist, which is a shitty change, but what can we do? We have to cope with it. And the way I cope with it is I changed the way I was using my auras. Instead of running the fixed amount of mana reserving auras on my mana, I'm now solely running them on my life, because I have a lot more life now than in the last patch. And this is due to the new amulet I got. This amulet has a lot of life, and due to this amulet I was also able to replace my boots, which also have a little bit more life. And because the amulet has so much damage, I respect a few damage nodes in the skill tree, a few inefficient skill points, the 3 critical multipliers over here. They are kinda inefficient, but they were necessary earlier because I didn't have much damage against rares, and if you don't have much damage against rares, the best way to kill them is with critical strikes with a lot of crit multiplier. You don't deal any damage, 0 damage, 0 damage, and then you crit and they basically die. And that's how I dealt with rares, but now I have so much damage that it doesn't really matter, and that's why I can take out these, because I got this amulet which grants 60% multiplier. Basically, if I take out these 4 points, I don't lose any damage with this amulet. And that's what I will do. This one is just temporarily in here because I would put it in here and 10 dexterity isn't really worth it. If I level up one more time I will respec this one as well. And instead I use these on life passives, and that's why I'm on 5430 now, because I have more life on this amulet, more life on my boots, plus 2 more life nodes, and it resulted in a lot more life. And now I'm able to run my auras on my life more easily without worrying about my life. And the way I do this, you can use the blood magic support with let's put it over here. You can use the blood magic support and reduce mana for anger and wrath. I have wrath over here, and it will basically reserve your life instead of your mana if you use the blood magic support. But the blood magic support has a huge mana cost multiplier on it, and because of that, instead of 200 life you are reserving 400 life. And you can circumvent this by using Covenant. Take out the blood magic support, and instead of using the blood magic support you just equip the Covenant. And what Covenant does is, it says blood magic on it. It basically grants the skill passive blood magic, and the skill passive blood magic in the tree has no mana cost multiplier on it. Anything you use is used on your health instead of your mana, which also includes auras. And if you use reduced mana and anger and wrath, now I only reserve 200 life. And then you can take out this reduced mana and it won't go down, won't go up. Then you can put this reduced mana somewhere else. I have my grace over here, also use the grace aura on your life. I'm reserving 300 life, and then you can put back the Covenant. You don't need it anymore, and the reserved life won't change. You are still running the 3 auras. You don't need this to have this in your inventory all the time. And then you can use your percentage reserving auras, which are Vitality. I added 1 more aura. Hatred. Then I put the reduced mana over here and use Purity. Let's wait for the mana to regen. Use Purity, and then I take the reduced mana and put it in here and use Determination. And that's basically it. Instead of 5 auras, And because of the patch, the build was nerfed because the mana flows talent was removed. I was down to 4 auras, and then I changed the setup because I got the new amulet and the new boots. I have a lot more life, and instead of 5 or 4 auras, I'm running 7 auras now. And then you can put back the blood magic or whatever you had in the sockets before. In my case, I need this blood magic for Enduring Cry and Devouring Totem, because as you can see, all of my mana is reserved. I don't have any mana left. And if you want to be able to cast these spells, you need to support them with blood magic, and that way you can still use them. The mana cost or life cost isn't really significant, doesn't really matter at all. And in my other sockets I have blood magic with my curses basically. You basically only need one reduced mana support to use all your auras, and then you can even take it out. And if it makes room for one more skill, you can do so, but in my case it doesn't make room for one more skill because I have one socket over here and one socket over here, and in order to use one more skill I would need one skill gem plus one blood magic support, and I don't have that. And because of that I can't do this. And basically I just leave the reduced mana in here, and now that you use all your auras you can go back to town and put the Covenant back into the stash. And yeah, that's basically it. Now you can play the game, and unless you log out of the game, all your auras will be online for the remainder of the session. And basically I have quite a lot of life now. Instead of something like 4800, I have 5400 now, which enables me to use these auras on my life without having to worry about my life at all. And these new boots also increased my armor a lot. I'm at 8200 base armor, and if I use my first flask, which I have always in use in fights, it is increased to about 10,000. There you go, 10,000. And if you use the granite on top of that, it goes to 27k plus the first flask, which veered off because my life was at maximum. If these two stack together, I'm at over 30k life. I'm going to demonstrate that one more time, but it's quite hard to remove my life by just shooting, because my life regeneration is so good now because of vitality. There you go, it's almost 30k, 29k, and it will increase to 30k if my grace levels up one more time. And with level 18 or 19 grace I might be able to reach 32k or maybe even 33k. And because of the new amulet and the new boots, I'm able to replace this ring very easily now. If I replace it with a coral ring or a ruby ring with a lot of life on it, I will be at almost 6000 life, and one or two more levels and I'm already at 6000 life. And yeah, that's basically it. I'm running 7 auras now, I have a lot of life, I have a lot of armor, even though grace isn't on a high level yet, and I have a lot of damage. This character becomes stronger and stronger with each item upgrade, and he still has a lot of item upgrades he can get, including Line Ice Glare and Corm's Heart. And with Corm's Heart he will be at almost 10k life, and with Line Ice Glare at almost 20k DPS, maybe even more than that, I can't really be sure. But it will be a huge increase in the efficiency of the character, and that's basically it. That's how I'm running my auras, and try it out for yourself, and see you guys next time.